this one came from Tracy. So thanks, Tracy. This is because of you. Really, there's I get all kinds of questions every so often. We get like a really good one, and this is a really good one. So I want to kind of bring this up for our big question, the topic to kind of chat with. And again, I'm really bummed that Heidi's not here because I love Heidi's the way she contributes, the way all of you could contribute. So the more the merrier. But anyway, so here's what Tracy says: what can tourists do to reassure the native local Hawaiians that are aware that we come with respect for the land, the people, and the culture? So I thought this was great. Thank you, Tracy, for submitting that question. So I thought what was interesting about this, right, was that Dylan and Scott, we've always talked about a bunch of times about, the way to get along in Hawaii is to respect the culture, embrace the culture, not impose sort of your ways on the local ways. We've all said that, and that's been a consistent message. So Tracy's question is a good one because okay, great. What does that mean? Tell me what to do? What do I do to sort of show this respect, that we come with respect for the land, people, and the topic? Yeah. See, Jen, great topic, right? It's a great topic. Now I must say, because Judy says this, if you're not in the Islander Ohana, get in on it. And we are going to be starting up our next cohort. We do talk about this in depth on the Islander Ohana. But for those that haven't joined our cohort yet, what do you do? Why don't we do, let's do Scott first. Scott and then Dylan. So Scott, what do you say when Tracy says, what do I do? What do you do, Scott, to demonstrate this respect? You're muted. Unmute your mic first. That's the first thing you do. You unmute the mic.
Well, the first thing that someone does is they take their shoes off at my front door when they come over. Part of it is learning the cultures and doing the studying to understand what some of those cultural aspects are, such as taking your shoes off at somebody's front door when you come over. That's part of it. To me, the other component is just having self-awareness. A lot of times I feel like, people have blinders on what they're doing and they aren't really self-aware of their impact on others. We are in a small island where, if you look at a map, we're a speck on that map out in the middle of the Pacific, so we are in tighter quarters here, and the vibe is more laid back. So when you do come to visit, be aware of your surroundings, be aware of how others are acting. But one in particular is if you go to visit someone at their house, you take something with you, some kind of gift, food, drink, etc. That's a big one. To me, it's studying, trying to learn what some of those cultural aspects are and being very respectful of them and being self-aware. There's nothing worse than a self-absorbed person. A lot of that to me comes with common sense, but someone told me the other day, common sense is something that's not necessarily common anymore. So,
well, and not just that, but self-awareness. Self-awareness. If someone lacks self-awareness, they're by definition not self-aware. So by telling someone you should be self-aware who's not self-aware, they're not going to get it. It's like, what the hell's your problem? Okay. So some simple, straightforward takeaways, right? Take your shoes off before you go into someone's house. That's simple, really straight sort of stuff. And then the other one is when you go to someone's house, bring something. Judy had a great story that she shared with us about doing that, and it was a very touching one. So Judy, I'm thinking about you now. Just what Scott's saying, your story. Okay, easy. We'll come back and if you have some more that pop in your head, because Scott, what's interesting about it, right? When you've lived here for the majority part of your life, it's like the air that you breathe. You take it for granted. You don't think that, oh yeah, slow down the car and let people go in front of you when they got their signal on, as opposed to speeding up and closing the gap so that they don't go in, right? But you take this for granted. Dylan, what do you tell people to kind of, how do you show? What do you say?
Scott's completely right. I mean, it's all about self-awareness. And if you're aware of it, if you've been asking the question, you're on the right track, in my opinion. And something to consider to show it, right, is to ask. I think that's a very important thing that sometimes people don't do, is just having the humility to maybe ask in a situation if you're not sure what the right thing to do is. And 99% of people, will gladly share with you what the right thing to do is, right? Or when you go to a beach, if you see a local or you see a lifeguard, hey, just ask, should I go over here? Is it okay to go on those rocks? What are some protocols that I should be aware of? I think about this is my personal example is I love jujitsu, right? And I do that regularly here. But whenever I travel, I try and go and drop in and train at a different gym so I can learn from other people and get that experience of, folks that are outside of my circle. But the first thing I always do when I get there is I either ask the professor or the guy that's in charge, ask them, hey, is there any specific protocols that I should be aware of? Because I want to be respectful of their culture, right? Their gym, the way they do stuff, the way, whatever it is. And, some places they want you to actually, take alcohol and wipe your feet down before you go on the mat. Other places there's a certain bowing protocol, whatever it is. But unless you ask and you have the humility to want to gain that information, people aren't going to offer it up. They're going to tell you once you're wrong, right? Once you've done the wrong thing. So I think that helps, having that self-awareness and just being open to asking and being humble about it is definitely the first step, because there's no way somebody can write a book and tell you everything you need to know. It's going to be different from family to family, area to area. There's subcultures within the culture. One of the cool things, and maybe you can Google this and throw it up on the screen, is the local Ironman athletes put out this one-page thing called the Pono Pledge. And Pono means righteousness, like the right thing to do, right? That's what Pono means in Hawaiian. And they put this out and shared it with all of the visiting triathletes, just to give them a bullet-pointed list of the way that they should conduct themselves, things to be aware of, ways to be respectful. And I thought, I haven't seen that before. I thought that was a really cool idea that the local, triathletes tried to do to help prepare and just make the impact in the community a little bit easier, right? Because there's so many people that complain about when Ironman comes here. So that's, stuff like that, being aware of that and taking it to heart is definitely the first place to start.
The Pono Pledge. I did a quick check.
It's online, like the Pono Pledge. I'm sure it's somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it, because I did a quick check for that, but I'm gonna look around. Well, my only complaint about the triathlon is the speedos. Other than that, I think it's perfectly fine. I think the speedos are just driving. No, just I kid. Hey, no, I think. Look, one thing I want to ask. Look, there's a bunch of you right now that are on that are alumni of the Islander Ohana. Can you share? And throw it in the comments so I can throw it. Can you share with Tracy some stuff that you've picked up that's meaningful to you? Like, for example, Judy gave a great one. This goes into, this is the self-aware. This is the self-aware category. Listen to people. You don't need to talk about yourself. Yeah. So that's like a big thing about local culture is you don't talk about the only way that, right, Dylan, the only way you talk about yourself is in a self-deprecating mode. That's the only acceptable way to talk about yourself. You can't say, I did this and I did that. No, you say, I screwed up. Yeah, not so hot. Yeah, I'm the last man, I'm the low man on the totem pole. That's the thing. And so that's a big deal. So thank you.
A really good one related to that, right, is a local saying is don't grumble. Right? Grumble is like complain, right? And I noticed when I traveled other places, there's like cities that like the culture is you bitch about everything, right? You bitch about the traffic and this and that and this and that. And like here, it seems like that's like really frowned upon. Like you don't go to somebody's house and then complain about something, right? Stay positive, talk about the good things. And that's normally how discussions happen at a party or at a gathering, right? Is we just have a more positive culture and outlook on life. And I think that's one mindset thing is nobody wants to hear you grumble. So
no grumble. There's even like it got a political twist to it where no vote, no grumble. That was another thing, right? That went around. There was a bumper sticker a little bit far away. One of them is from TB, volunteering and joining local service group, participating in local projects. Good way to assimilate to the island. Huge, big thing. Find your passion and volunteer for it. No question. Now, Kinaya, thank you, Kinaya. I so appreciate you putting your comment in because it's currently my favorite comment. My favorite thing to do. Here we go. That's the one. Learn to pronounce some things correctly. Okay. So this is like, I've been into this because I just added a course on the Islander Ohana on how to correctly pronounce Hawaiian words. Not how to speak Hawaiian. That's like really hard, but at least to correctly pronounce Hawaiian words. to me, that is Tracy. If you want to, like, because Tracy also mentioned that she lived on Maui about 22 years ago, and she's visited maybe 15 times since then. It's been a burning question for me. Learn how to pronounce Hawaiian words correctly, because there is nothing is more obvious that you've not taken the way than for you to like butcher Hawaiian words. If you butcher Hawaiian words, that says you are haole in the truest sense of the word. Haole meaning foreigner. You are a foreigner. You have not pronounced and this is a kind of a universal cultural thing, no matter where you go, right? If you go to France and you try at least to pronounce the French words correctly, the French will like it. But if you kind of Americanize and butcher French words, they're not going to be happy. So thank you, Kinaya, for bringing that up. That is huge, 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 huge. Jen, give back, visit for 3 weeks. Yep, that's it. Feed the homeless, clean up, etc. That's what you do. Auntie Joyce complained about the Ironman crowds in traffic. Left California. Not a fan of Speedos either. But remember, Joyce, no grumble, right? We no grumble, except for the Speedos. We can do it for the Speedos. Tracy, staying humble, giving back. Yep. Just on the bank for the first time, felt deep aloha spirit, so moved and humbled by it. Yeah, that's basic. And humbled is a really great local word, right? Humble, humility. I'm humbled. Having a true sense of humbleness. Although I have to riff on this for just a moment, I'm going to riff now. So start the riff period. What I love on social media is when someone said, "I'm humbled by this award I was given." That really means I'm really proud of it. That means I'm really proud. Or when someone says, "I'm honored," I'm so honored and so humbled. That means I'm super proud of myself, but I can't say I'm proud. That's my thing about social media. So whenever you see someone say on social media, "I'm humbled," that means I'm proud. I just can't say it. If you really want to give pride, you give it to someone else. You could give it to someone else, but not if it's you, you're just bragging. Aloha spirit and show respect for people and traditions. Yeah. So Auntie Joyce, the question is, yes, we know that. How do you show respect? How do you show the traditions, right? How do you do that? That's the question. Lace Dillon, stay, love Dylan sign, stay humble, stay hungry. Yes. And Judy, be grumble, no grumble. Yeah. Be humble, no grumble. That's it. That's it. Judy, did you come up with that? That's like a damn good bumper sticker. Be humble, no grumble. I like that. Bumper sticker, Judy. Bumper sticker. The hungry part could always mean learning and growing. Yeah, exactly. It's what it always means. So excellent. When that's not what it always means. That's certainly what it can mean. So Tracy, hope you got some good stuff out of that. Okay, Judy, copyright that quick. Copyright that. That's like, man, that just kind of, Judy, be humble, no grumble, be humble. That, man, make that a t-shirt, Judy. Make that a t-shirt, make that a bumper sticker, copyright that, be humble, no grumble, right? Exactly. She who laughs, right? Exactly. The reminder to learn the language really, okay, I want to make it this. Yes, it is. The reminder to learn the language is really important. And it's not the language per se, because really there's a small group of Native Hawaiians that speak the language natively. That's an extremely tiny percentage. I should say no one, but really the grand overwhelming majority of Dylan, you were born and raised here. How much do you actually speak Hawaiian term, like a sentence?
Zero. I mean, I know, okay. I know 50 Hawaiian words that, so when somebody said, I could decipher what's going on, but it's mainly the stuff. It's the pidgin stuff, right? That you always use, "pau," stuff like that people commonly use. Yeah.
But I can't
put a sentence together. I can't put a sentence together.
Yeah. Exactly. I can't, really quote, no one does effectively. Yes, there is a group that do speak the Native Hawaiian language, and God bless them for it. And there's schools that are Hawaiian immersion. There's a movement. It's growing for sure. But the overwhelming majority of the culture, no one speaks no one will start a conversation with you in Hawaiian. Go ahead, Dylan.
Here's just a little anecdotal example of this. My son the other day tells me that he's really not liking one of his classes and his teacher. And I'm like, why? And he says, because he refuses to pronounce Kalakahe properly, like the other high school, right? And I guess this guy went into some rant about how he's been here for like 30 years, but he just doesn't want to pronounce it properly. And it's just, my son finds that very disrespectful, right? Like, it's like there's no reason other than your personal opinion to not want to learn how to say the other high school's name properly. And so it's regardless of his ability to teach or his knowledge of the subject or the classroom environment, like his attitude is what's, turning my son off and changing his educational experience, right? So just something as small as that, where just a bad attitude, it's very interesting.
Look, it's not small. It's not small at all. It's huge, right? Because what that teacher is basically saying is, the hell with you.
Yeah.
Right? That's what the teacher is basically saying. Go ahead, Scott.
Well, and there's nothing that says you're either a tourist or an FOB fresh off the boat than when I hear someone say Iwo Beach instead of Evo Beach. And the reality is it's fine in the beginning, but if you move down there and you say it the same way for 5 years, then that's your lack of willingness to conform and learn. And that's where people will start to have an issue, and that's a lack of humbleness at that point.
Exactly. So yes, Tracy, the pronunciation, that is hugely important. Look, and it's kind of funny because it's such a giveaway, right? Because I just had a conversation the other day with someone who's lived here, more than 40 years, right? Been here for more than 40 years, and we're talking about this and that and the other thing. And he says, "Yeah, I went to Ala Moana Beach Park." I'm like, dude, it's not freaking Ala Moana. It's Ala Moana, you freaking howly. It's Ala Moana. How could you be here for all these decades and still say Ala Moana? It's like, dude, that's so wrong. It's Ala Moana, damn it. Anyway, so it was just kind of funny because it was a dead giveaway. The point is, it was a dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway that this person has not sort of really embraced it. So that's that. Your son is she who laughs says your son is right. The attitude and disrespecting the other school. Absolutely. More caught than taught. Okay. More is caught than taught. There you go. I think there's another, that may be the other side of the, maybe you and Judy need to get together and kind of start collaborating on like t-shirts. Like the front says no humble, big grumble. And the other side, more is caught than taught. That I love that. That is great. But, yeah, so pronunciations are important, and there's a bunch of pronunciations that that we kind of take for granted, like Kalakaua, right? Everyone says Kalakaua, or everyone says Waikiki. Well, technically speaking, that's not correct. It's Kalakaua, right? It's Kalakaua. It's not Kalakaua. It's Kalakaua. But no one says Kalakaua. No one says that. But that is technically. But if somebody went to you and said, "Hey, I just was walking down Kalakaua," it's like, oh man, that person, they got it. They got it right. So anyway, all right. Anything else anybody wants to share? Let's see. I think I got everyone's comments on this, on anything. If you got more stuff that you want to share, gang, throw down there. I'd love to kind of help out Tracy and all of us, frankly, because we need to kind of, the more that we could, we all kind of want to, we all want to kind of want to be a part of what's going on over here. But we want to